Dawn tears through the morning fog along a tense mountain chain where the smell of gunpowder mixes with the wet breath of an old tropical forest. In this place, the line between living and dying is so thin that even a slight shift in the wind can turn routine patrols into tragedy. The border between Thailand and Cambodia trembles again, as if the land itself is reacting to a ghost that has been violently awakened. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine an empire that once swallowed much of mainland Southeast Asia. Picture the stone towers of Angkor rising toward the sky, once believed to be the center of the universe, radiating the authority of Khmer kings in all directions like the sun. That grandeur is a source of pride, but also a haunting memory. Cambodia is unlike any other nation in the region. Its people live beside colossal stone reminders of a time when they dominated this land. Yet the brutal contrast between a Khmer empire that once ruled vast territories and a modern Cambodia squeezed between two powerful neighbors, Thailand and Vietnam, has created a deep collective psychological scar. The recent clash is only a scratch on the surface. Beneath it flows hot blood, a restless ambition to reclaim dignity and to feel, once again, like the Cambodia of the 12th century. This is not a discussion about who is right or wrong over a few meters of border soil. This is an autopsy of imperial melancholy and the heavy cost of sleeping inside the past. Welcome to Political Plot, where we cut through the noise to reveal the power plays shaping American politics. Today we are diving into how unresolved history, wounded national pride, and shifting power balances can turn a fragile border into a stage where modern politics, ancient empires, and domestic survival instincts collide, transforming diplomacy into danger. At its core, this is about how the past, when weaponized by ambition, can quietly shape the conflicts of the present. To grasp how serious this moment is, we need to look beyond daily headlines and examine the broader collapse of diplomacy. Just weeks earlier, under bright flashes in Kuala Lumpur and before the eyes of major powers, a handshake between Thai and Cambodian leaders was praised as a symbol of a new era of peace. History, however, shows that ceremonial smiles fade quickly when gun barrels heat up. The outbreak in early December was not a random accident or a local commander losing control. It was a calculated escalation, a script shaped by political ambition. Thailand, long seen as the dominant military force on the mainland, crossed a dangerous line by deploying tactical air power against a neighbor. Cambodia, traditionally viewed as the weaker side, did not retreat or rely on cautious diplomatic protests. It answered with widespread artillery fire, striking military positions and civilian areas alike, turning the border into a real inferno. The human cost was immediate. Tens of thousands of civilians, farmers who share culture, waterways, and faith across the border, fled together in panic. Leaders traded harsh statements, one rejecting talks, the other accusing war crimes. The question remains why two economically interdependent neighbors were willing to burn diplomatic bridges overnight. Behind the gunfire lies fear of a shifting balance of power, fear of losing status. To understand this, we must dissect the psychology of both societies. Ask an ordinary Cambodian about their history, and their eyes light up at the mention of Angkor and the era when Khmer influence stretched across the region. Then the gaze dims when the story turns to decline, territorial loss to Siam and Dai Viet, and the more recent trauma of genocide. The violent contrast between a glorious apex and a tragic modern history has produced a unique national complex. Places like Preah Vihear are not just stones. They are exposed nerves linking the present to a wounded sense of greatness. Thai control or pressure over these areas is felt as an insult to national dignity, salt rubbed into scars that never healed. Under Prime Minister Hun Manet, Cambodia is undergoing a sharp transformation. The country no longer wants to be seen as a poor aid-dependent state. With infrastructure growth, ambitious canal projects, and military modernization, the old imperial spirit stirs. Modern Cambodians want the world, and especially Thailand, to look at them with respect, perhaps even caution. The artillery response was not only military, it was a political declaration that Cambodia no longer accepts the role of the weaker party. Thailand, on the other hand, has spent much of the last century proud of its uninterrupted independence and its role as economic and cultural center of the peninsula. It has long viewed Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar as buffer states, siblings needing guidance. When Cambodia began asserting strategic autonomy and reducing dependence on Thai logistics and ports, Bangkok felt its status threatened. The airstrikes carried the tone of a disciplinary gesture, an attempt to preserve an old order with Thailand setting the rules. At its core, this conflict is a collision between a rising power hungry for recognition and an established one anxious about fading dominance. War also serves as a narcotic for domestic power. In Cambodia, Hun Manet governs during a sensitive transition. Educated abroad and carrying a technocratic image, he still must prove to conservative elites and the public that he inherited his father's iron resolve. In Cambodian political culture, appearing weak toward foreign pressure is unforgivable. A hard stance at the border offers a perfect stage to craft an image of strength and continuity. As shelling intensifies, domestic support consolidates. Nationalism becomes a stimulant, binding society to its new leader. In Thailand, politics is rarely calm. Civilian factions, the military, and royal networks constantly pull against each other. Economic pressure, youth dissatisfaction, and polarization strain the government. Deploying advanced fighter jets sends a signal to the powerful military establishment and reignites national pride, temporarily overshadowing inflation and internal disputes. Public outrage over casualties redirects anger outward. There is also a quieter strategic layer. The canal project that could grant Cambodia direct maritime access threatens Thailand's transport dominance. Heightened border instability can discourage investment and slow such ambitions. In this sense, conflict becomes economic policy enforced by violence. Neither side truly seeks territorial conquest. The real battlefield is perception. Cambodia leverages civilian suffering to frame Thailand as an aggressor internationally. Thailand relies on technological superiority, believing precision air power can deliver quick results. History warns that air dominance rarely wins wars of popular resentment. Worse, this confrontation risks becoming a miniature proxy conflict. Cambodia's closeness with China and Thailand's treaty ties with the United States invite deeper external involvement, turning Southeast Asia into a contested chessboard and weakening regional unity. This border war is not merely present gunfire, but an echo of unresolved disputes centuries old. It shows how nationalism, when manipulated by political ambition, can become a weapon more destructive than bullets. Cambodia has every right to honor Angkor's legacy. Thailand has every right to take pride in its independence. But no one has the right to fertilize history with the blood of civilians. Dreams of imperial revival or fears of losing supremacy will bury the future of both nations if they fail to wake up.